All right, so I wanted to, in this video, just review the steps for our slab-based cylinder face mug. Okay, so let's get started. Before I started the video, I already rolled some newsprint around the form that I chose, right? Remember, there's a bunch of forms on the middle table you can choose. I already rolled out my slab. So I used my rolling pin, and remember I used my measuring sticks here, make sure that they're the same thickness. Again, these are about a centimeter. This is a good thickness. There's some that are there that are very thick. I wouldn't use those. And I just made sure that I kept the rolling pin on the edges and rolled it out so that it was consistent all the way through. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, really important, is I need to define my top and bottom of the mug. So here's going to be the bottom, and I'm just going to use my measuring stick here to create a nice even line. Okay, and I want this to be a parallel line, so you can do that a few different ways. I'm going to use a ruler today. Okay, so if I measure, and I'm thinking about the height of my mug, right? Because I'm going to turn the slab vertical. So how high do I want my mug? The form that I chose is a little bit wider, so I'm going to make mine not so tall. I'm thinking maybe 8 centimeters. So I'm making just a dot at 8 centimeters, another dot at 8 centimeters. If I connect those dots, I should get a straight line that's parallel. All right, now comes the wrapping. Okay, so I wrapped this with newsprint and I taped it. I made sure it was really tight around the form. Okay, now I'm just going to start rolling. So pick up one edge, roll all the way around, keeping it tight to the surface. And what I'm hoping for is it will overlap. All right, and it will do that as long as you make your slab the full length of one of these rolling mats. Okay, so you can see that it overlaps there. All right, so I'm gonna make sure it lines up nicely. All right, and now with my cutting knife, I'm gonna remember to cut at a diagonal. All right, I'm cutting at a 45-degree angle, and I'm gonna cut straight down. Okay, so I'm gonna very carefully, very slowly cut at a 45 all the way through. Okay, then I'm gonna have some excess clay, so this comes away. I'm gonna open this up, this clay comes away, and that should be a pretty good match. Okay, so to attach that, I just need a little bit of scoring. So I have my scoring tool and score this side. I'm gonna have a little bit of water and then combine. Okay, and I just want to compress this together. And again, the goal should be that when we see these in the end, you can't tell where that seam is. All right, so you really need to take your time, pull that clay together, make sure that is a very clean seam. Okay, so I'm gonna let this sit for a second. I'm gonna make my base. Okay, so I have some excess clay here. All right, I'm gonna get my measuring sticks again. I'm just gonna quickly roll this out. I like to roll in all directions while I'm standing up is helpful. All right, there it goes. Okay, so the rolling pin rides smoothly on the measuring sticks the whole way. All right. Now, I'm gonna take my cylinder off of the base. So this should slide out really nicely. Okay, and then the inside paper should twist right out too. All right, I'm gonna set this on my base. Actually, I'm gonna back up a step before I set that down. All right, I can finish the seam on the inside, smooth that out in here. Okay, I'm also gonna score the bottom. okay? Add a little bit of moisture onto my score mark. All right, turn over, and we're gonna attach there to your base. Okay. With the excess clay that is around here, we're gonna cut that off. So I'm just gonna very carefully roll. Make sure you just turn my mat. Okay, and there we go. Okay, now I would do some smoothing, some fine tuning, make sure all my seams are well connected, run my finger along this seam, right, to make sure that the base is really nicely connected into the form, okay? After this, remember, we're gonna be sculpting our face. You can choose a human face, animal face. It can be very subtle, it can be very exaggerated. It's really your choice, all right? If we're going to be adding clay onto here, remember we need to score our surfaces, put a little water before we then go add any piece that we're going to add, okay? I hope that was helpful, and good luck on your face mug creations.